www.nunaboss.com. This is again Ty. Still, this video is part of the video tutorial series that we're creating about Adobe Audition CS6 tools, functions that you can use, and how you can output good quality recording somehow, or quality MP3s, WAV files for a client, or maybe you're just starting off with learning an audio editing software. And we have basic tutorials for that for beginners. Probably this would also help. If you can't understand much of what we're doing right now, you can go back down to the list of videos that we have, search for something in there. It's a little bit sequenced, and you can get learned from there prior, as I always say, to learning the video that you are watching right now. So this time what I'd like to show you is, let me open up Adobe Audition CS6 first. And how you can modify a bass clip. Let's say you have a voice talent, or probably you have been assigned to work on a project like a radio ad, and you have had somebody record a voice like a voice talent, but you'd want to make adjustments because that voice talent probably have had some mistakes, or you just want to do contour edits with the sound, and you'd want to cut some parts, you'd want to add, you'd want to move, modify, interchange. That's what I would like to show you right now. Basic, simple for beginners. So I would like to start off first with creating a voice file. That's your base file that you'd want to modify. Again, if you have music, you could do that on a music file, sort of like a backing or background music. But right now we're just gonna think of that we're working on some voice file. Alright? It's just the same with working with some other audio files. I would want to start off with a voice file because you can manage to just adapt that to some other some other audio orientations of whatever file that you're working on. Probably drums, guitar riffs, or maybe violin, or whatever you'd want to add to make your audio output somehow enhanced. Let me start off by recording. If you don't know how to do basic recording, yes, you can pause the video, go back down, look up for the basic recording tutorial that we have on NudaWorks. Okay, let me start off. Click on the red button right here. You have to name that. You say voiceover. If you're having a voiceover like a dad, or a voiceover a kid, because sometimes when you create a radio ad, you would need a lot of voices at times. We have sample radio ad in there. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, voiceover. Stereo would be okay. 32 would be just about alright. You might want to bring that down a little bit to downgrade, but this is going to be enough. To click on OK. Then while you talk, you have that. So you're just going to cut that a little bit later. And we start off from sound check. www.nudaboss.com. Alright, so stop. How do you stop that? You press spacebar on your keyboard. The thing that you have to remember right here, sorry about that, I need to close the door. The thing that you have to remember here, you don't mind much as to where you start off. Even though you're catching background noise, you're catching pre-recording noise, that's going to be alright because you can just cut that. So what you do with this, you stop by spacebar, play a little bit, sound check. www.nudaboss is your voice file. This was a little bit later, and we start off from, this was the first one. Probably you would delete that, but first we're gonna save this so that I could show you how you could edit that. Control A, right click over that, you say save selection as, then go for voiceover MP3, send that to a path, desktop, click on OK, and delete this. Control A, delete. Bring that down, C. You got voiceover MP3. We're gonna think of your client sent this to you via email. Alright? We're not going to start off from what we just did, but we're just going to think of that we're just going to start off having somebody commanded you to edit this voice file. Alright? So again, you open up your email, your client sent you this, or somebody, a friend maybe ask you, hey, can you edit my voice? Can you make it like this? Of course you can. How? Open up Adobe Audition right here again, and go to your desktop. Yep, from there, got voiceover. What you want to do with that is you're gonna load that here. Alright, drag that to waveform. Remember you're in waveform. Also, if you're in multi-track, say test. Oh, oh yeah, right. I did that test. Edit one and okay. It's gonna give you multi-track. You want to do multi-track if you want to do mix downs, like you have a mother's voice, a dad's voice, a kid's voice, background music, drums, and everything. You can do multi-track. Add that in here, right? But now we're just gonna use waveform. Take an OK, right click over that, and you can get a have. Oh, sorry, not right click, but go back here. Got voiceover from your folder. Drag that straight to there, then you can have that ready for edit. If you play that, OK, then while you talk, you have that. So you're just gonna cut. It's playing. That was the one that we created earlier, but things out it was some material that was asked of you to edit. So what you want to do is you don't want this part right here. Alright, you don't want that. You want only this part. Alright, so what you do is you highlight from here, going down the left side. That's using your mouse. Again, playhead here. Playhead is this yellow bar right from. Alright, that's the line that when it touches any waveform, it's going to read that as an audio file. It's going to send that through to your monitoring speakers and talk. Alright, so from here, if you want to target really precise, right here on lower right hand corner you got something that says zoom and yeah, zoom horizontal and zoom vertical. So what you'd want to do with this is zoom with, right? So when you zoom that, the waveform is going to expand and you can target a little bit precise because the pixel is going to be widen up a little bit. So make that a little bit larger so you could really target exact from here. Then listen up real close, because you might delete the very start of your voice, like this. Sound. See? Let me just go back. Noise. If you start from here, probably you're gonna cut that. It wouldn't sound good. So you just wanna start it from here, then make it a little bit smaller again, so you can see it with me. All right. There you go. So we gotta start from here. Let me just double click. Oop, there you go. I think so that we're on a precise part. I can't. There you go. Go straight to the left side and make it a little bit larger again for your view, and take a look at that. You still have that part. Remember, if you're going to use this for radio, you might want to conserve a fraction of a second. Why? Because you're paying that for the airtime rate. And there you go. Play that. Sound check. See, it's going to be precise to where you'd want to start it. Check. Okay, so you want to end it from part here. There's still a waveform. Sometimes waveforms are really, really micro for your eyes, so you want to blow that up a little bit, like this. Here's a max. I mean, zoom in so you can see that it's really a waveform. When it goes blue, that's a waveform. It goes a little bit dimmed out, then that's blank. Oop. Delete that. So this is, think so that this is only the part that we're going to be needing. Okay. Alright, and we got another one right there. I just cut that off. Okay, so this is the one we have right now. What you'd want to do with this is Control A, save this as another file. What you do is save selection as, right click, voiceover one. You might want to name that something that would give you a recall that you really did edit that. You want to say edit, pre-edit probably. Did I spell that right? Pre-edit. Okay, voiceover one, pre-edit. Click on OK. Then again, delete this. Bring that down. Why you don't want to overwrite the first one? Because this is your base file. What if you just only have one file like this and you lost that, you overwritten that? So you can bring that back again. Then you lose one client. But if you just export that to a different file name, then you still have the original file. Whatever goes wrong with this, still can go back and start all over again. So here is the base file now. that you did cut, you're ready for edit. What you'd want to do with that is open up Adobe Audition back again and go back here, not VoiceOver, but VoiceOver 1 pre-edit. Load that there. Then this is where you'd want to do multi-track. Control A, right click over that, you send that insert to multi-track, and you say new multi-track session. Why you would want to do that? So you don't affect whatever session that you have back then. What you want to do is to say, name that for a client, maybe radio ad, pizza. That's my favorite. So radio ad pizza. 44 and 32 stereo. Don't worry about that because you can adjust that. You can output that to anything, to MP3, FLAC, WAV. That's gonna be okay. So click on OK on that. It's gonna bring you to multi-track. Remember, this is your multi-track right here. This is your waveform. All right, you have both sources open. So now, what you'd want to do with this is make it a little bit bigger. Let me slide this to the left side so you can see everything. And now it's bigger. That's the maxed out view of the file itself. What you'd want to do, you'd want to set fade in and fade out. With the older Adobe Audition 3.0, 2.0, maybe way back to Cool Edit, it's a little bit different. You would want to set a marker for that. But here, right click over this squarish part right here. As you can see, it's a little bit opaque. If you right click, I mean not right click, but hover on top of that, you would see something that says fade in, right? And right on the end part of your voice file or any audio file that you loaded here, let's say fade out. Yeah, fade in, fade out. What you want to do with that is hover, press, hold, drag. Right? Now when you drag, let me put that here on this part, alright? Take a look at my cursor. Follow that. If you bring that going up, it's going to arch up the contour. If you bring that down, it's going to somehow make it a little bit convex, concave, so to say. All right, so we're going to bring that down there, and I'm going to play it for you. New to boss stop. See that? Again, I'm going to bring back the playhead, going back to home, and notice this is a waveform on this part, but it's not reading that. It's going to start to read from this part right here. Why? Because you set the fade in to that part. That's the use of the fade in. You want to somehow trim this. You don't want to start it from a really banging sound. You would want to have it flowing in from a certain decibel or amplitude going up a little bit, right? If you move this back in there, let's move that back, and notice sound check. See, it's gonna read it from here, not this. Even though you move the playhead, it's not gonna talk. Let's bring it back to its default. Move the playhead. Alright, so again, it's just simple fade in. That's the idea and how you'd wanna add that in there. And here's one thing that you'd want to do. Again, click on that. Sorry, click on that, and here is your. You can contour that up right there, arch it, and going down, depending on how you'd want it to sound, right? And if you double click, it's going to take you back to waveform view in case you'd want to remove this, right? You go back to multi-track, then it's going to remove that. So let's think of it's going to be like that for the fade in. That's adding in fade in and adding in fade out. You just simply do it like this, going down. Probably let's make it a little bit bouncy, like that. Alright? Yeah, it's all up to you. What I'm just trying to share you right now are controls that you can use, and somehow you could make your edits a little bit more functional, a little bit more sounding okay, which is the tools that I'm sharing to you right now. And also some contour points right here that you'd want to learn about. Let me just bring it back to the right, bring it back here. What I'd like to show you right now is some contour endpoints that you can use to silence some parts and amplify some parts. Here, this yellow line right here is actually your volume marker. If you hover on that, it would say volume. What you want to do is pick up a point. Let's say, let's play this. Check. That check part, you'd want that silenced. Alright? You don't want to cut it. You can cut that down. Here's another thing that you'd want to do. You'd want to cut some parts. Right here on top, you got eraser. Alright? If you can't find that in there, you can go to Window. You can go to Setup on the list of videos that we have. You can just check that in there. Take razor right here and select this part. You can see that there's a razor head also while you drag that, right? So let's say you'd want to remove this part right here. Click on that, and another part right here. And you'd want to delete this probably here. If you highlight that, delete, and you have everything cut down already. But there's also another way to do that. Control C, Control Z, and oh sorry, not C, but Z. Okay. Let me go back here. Let's say you want to remove that part. No, not remove, but silence that up. You can also use this tool, razor, and V on your keyboard, so you could use a handler instead of a razor. Select this, and remember this is the volume right here. Just bring it down low to 0. If you play it, it'll be new to boss. See, it's another way on how you can silence a part without deleting it. All right. Also, let me go back. You can make use of, again, if you want to use a handler, you can just press this part right here, or you could say you could press V as in Victor on your keyboard. Also here, let's make some counterpoints. Let's select this part right here. Hover on the yellow part and think so that this is where you'd want to make changes with. Double click on that. Remember that it should be solid yellow or whatever your volume head right here is. Then take one more point right here. You got one more point and bring it down. Alright, and again right here. Probably you'd want it that way. Right, sort of AC. Current going up, going down. Sound check. www.nudaboss.com. See? I'm gonna bring this down too, so you can see the difference. Let me amplify right, going up to the right side. And let me bring this down so you can see the volume going up from this point. Sound check. www.nudaboss.com. See? That point, that utility, or I mean that technique or tool, I could say, it's just amplifying and de-amplifying this out. You raise that up going to the right side to make it a little bit louder, and you raise that down to a little bit on the first part, so you can start off from a lower volume, or you could do that invert from here and going down. It's all up to you. Also, you can set let me Control Z everything. There you go. So we're back from on the default audio file that we have. Okay, one more I would like to show you is probably you'd want to use single channel. Like you don't want to use stereo, you just want to use mono left and mono right. Double click on that, then you got your channels right here, left and right. You want to use right, then just use right. Alright, so that's changing channels, and also you could invert that from left going to the right part. So to check as to what elements you have in there. Okay, so I guess that's a little bit of a help probably in case you're trying to make changes on a raw file. Edit that to something else, and also here, one more. I forgot something. Let me bring that down to a little smaller view. Right here. Let's say we're gonna add in 2 files. Alright, so we have this, and we have, yeah, if you have those 2 right there, and the second recording that you have, let me make it a little bit bigger. Think so. This is a drum beat. Alright, again, let me change the color. let's say that this green audio file is a drum beat, and this is your voice. You're trying to edit music, overlaying some songs that you recorded using your voice. So the problem that you're faced with is this green audio file, which is your music file, is too loud for this voice that you have. So what you want to do is match up a little bit manual. Here is the volume control. You would want to amplify this a little bit. Why? Because again, remember the scenario is the audio, the voice file is too low, and this is too loud, so you want to bring that down. Again, that's just volume adjustments manual. Just check that out, see if it would fit okay. Right? We're just pretending this music because we don't want to use music for now. Yeah, so again, voice file music. In case it's the other way, just change that. This is the one sounding too loud, and bring this up to make this matched with the other one. And also, here's another part. Let's say you sang at an interval of 4/4, and this is counting 4/4, but you missed that one interval. Let's say you go over 4/4, you're doing that 5 or 4.5, probably 4 1/4, going fourth. So if you do that, then your song would not match the drum beat, right? You don't want to adjust the drum beat. Why? Because if you do that, again, you're running at 4.5 by 4. It's awkward if you're going to adjust the drum beat into 4.5 by 4, right? Because if you're going to add some other riffs, some other instruments, then you're going to adjust everything. So what you want to do is you don't adjust the backing or the correct measurement of your drum beat, but you adjust your voice. How you want to do that? Again, let me repeat this scenario if you didn't understand. You have a perfect music. You have a perfect drum beat. Let me show you. Multi-track metronome, enable metronome. This is an example of the drum beat. Let me mute this, mute this. Those are tick counts. If you want to make that a little bit different, change the sound type to, let's probably say African. I don't know, it doesn't sound good. Tabla. All right. Okay, so it's a perfect count. The one that the one that's giving you a problem is your miscalculation of the interval while you sing a song, or I mean while you sang the song. So you'd want to make changes on this. Alright, so how do you do that? You just would want to match the interval of this to the 4/4 counts that you have. Alright, so what you want to do is right click over this and you go to something that says where's that? Dun, 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 dun. What was that? Oh, stretch. Oh, sorry. Okay, right click over this. No, don't unmute that. We go back. Right click, stretch, stretch mode, or stretch properties. So what you want to do is stretch properties right here. It's going to come up right on the left side. Then look down. I mean, look straight down. Something that says stretch right here. Let me go back. If you right click over that, you select stretch, stretch properties, it's going to give you this. Let me put that to marker. So you can see the change, alright? Right click, stretch, stretch properties. See that? It changed. It's going to give you stretch info. What you're trying to stretch right now is not this, but this. The blue one, it says the title in there. So you don't want to touch this first. You can, it's going to move that to a different layer, to a different time frame. But if you want to just speed that up or lower the speed down, you go straight down, look for something that says stretch. Now it's grayed out. You can't control that. What you want to do is you set the mode to real time, right? Or you could also use rendered, but it's just going to be the same because you're just going to export that later. So what you do is real time there, and mono, that's going to be okay. duration 2767. That's the secondary count of this, but you just would want to stretch. If you say stretch 100%, let me mute this. Sound check. That's the original interval or phasing of your audio file. Notice when I make that 50, hover, drag to the left side, let's make it 50. See that? It's going to trim that down to somehow a smaller file, I mean smaller looking file in there, but it's not really going to trim anything. It's just going to speed that in an interval. Let me play it. Soundcheck www.nudeboss.com. See, let me turn off the metronome so you can see. Soundcheck www.nudeboss.com. It's sort of like a chipmunk voice, right? So bring that to 290. Soundcheck www.nudeboss.com. See that? That's that's really funny. But anyway, let me bring it down. You don't want to use that too much stress like that. Probably you just would want to end that down to 80 or 90. Again, you're just reducing the count of the interval. Probably 90. That's going to be okay. Home soundcheck www.nudeboss.com. Alright, something like that. Just would want to add that in there in case you'd want to change the stretch or the time interval. If you want to change the pitch, here. Alright, so that's about it. I guess I would be continuing some other functions and tools that you can use to enhance your audio edit in the coming videos. Do check that out. And again, do subscribe to our channel and do visit our website. Again, my name's Time. Gonna see you back on the next video.